Alright, welcome to another episode of Gizmo Slip Tech. Today we're unboxing the 11 and 12.9 inch new iPad Pros. These are the new less bezel design. They look really promising with a number of new features. Today I'll give you my initial impressions as well as take a closer look. It's gonna be freaking epic. Let's get started. Okay, let's start with the 11 inch iPad. Oh yes. There it is. It's in this wrap. Let's go ahead and take it out. Not nearly as satisfying as taking the cellophane off a smartphone, but this is still nice. Look at that. There it is. What are we looking at? We got volume controls over here on the right side. We got power on the top right. Let's go ahead and try turning it on. There it goes. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and set this to the side. Let's go ahead and take a look inside the box here. We've got the new world's first Apple USB-C charging power plug and cable. Look at that. Hopefully Apple goes to USB-C in the future for their iPhones as well. The dots along the bottom here are a smart connector for like a keyboard accessory, for example. And this little guy on the side here kind of looks like the fingerprint sensor from the Razr phone, but it's actually where you put the Apple Pencil to that pairs the Apple Pencil and charges it at the same time. Pretty freaking cool. And here is the 12.9 inch version. Let's just pop this sucker open. Oh my goodness. This thing is a lot smaller than the previous 12.9 inch version. Like this guy, pretty much the same size as the 10.5 inch version. It's just a slightly larger display and the same form factor. But this is a much smaller overall size when compared to the previous 12.9 inch. I'd say it was probably about an inch larger with the previous version. So this is a big difference. Let's go ahead and open this up. Oh my goodness. And there it is. Oh my goodness. I really like the style. Like the way the edges just curve over the side. That just looks freaking classy. Reminds me a lot of the iPhone 5, which honestly was one of the best styled iPhones I think ever done by Apple. Let's go ahead and turn this bad boy on. There it goes. We're gonna go ahead and set this to the side. This should have the same things in the box. We've got the USB-C charging port once again and cable. And inside here, we just have a little quick start guide for what the buttons do. Of course, now this new iPad has Face ID, which is pretty cool. And it has that control center with the new iOS. It's gonna be really interesting. Wonder how good the camera is on the back. We'll have to test that out. There it is. That is a big difference in size, huh? 11 inch and 12.9 inch side by side. Okay, time to activate the iPad. We're gonna go ahead and add Face ID. It's detected my face. Nice. Now we do a second scan. Boom. Face ID is now set up. Now the iPad utilizes the exact same gestures that the iPhone 10 does. So we have the swipe up to go home, quick access to the dock, and switch between recent apps with the swipe up, and then also pulling down from the right will give us our controls. Now we are in the new iPad Pro 12. Let's see how bright this thing can get. Oh my goodness, that is quite nice. Can't wait to put this thing through its paces. Check it out. You got panoramic photos, square photos, portrait mode, regular photos, and you even have a slow-mo mode and a time-lapse mode. So cool that the iPad can now do these portrait mode photos. These look pretty dang cool too. So you can actually adjust the aperture on the fly while taking the photo, so you can adjust how much background blur is actually being applied. That's pretty cool. As you can see, that front camera is actually pretty dang good. Like you can see a lot of detail with that front camera. See how good the video is. Video seems pretty solid, though might just be a little bit jittery, hard to say. That's some pretty impressive camera quality. The camera bump on the new iPad is huge. It's even bigger than on the 10R. Maybe it's just how the aluminum wraps around it is bigger, but the actual sensor itself is the same. I've got Fortnite and Hearthstone downloading. We'll give those a try, see if they work well on this iPad. All right, so one thing I'm noticing already is that the apps are not optimized for this new resolution. Right now, it's like as if this iPad has a bigger bezel than it actually does because of the way these apps are optimized. They have this black bar right here. It's pretty annoying. Give developers a couple months to update their apps and it'll probably be optimized, but it kind of sucks that it doesn't automatically stretch out the apps to be the right size. Playing Fortnite on the new iPad Pro 2018 was freaking fantastic. It was even smoother than playing on an iPhone XS Max. Now, yes, this iPad Pro has a 120 Hz display, but you can't actually play, at least the games that I tried, at 120 Hz on it. The Razer phone is nice because it allows you to switch the target refresh rate both in the regular apps as well as in many of the games, but with the iPad, you don't have any semblance of control like that. You're either going to get lucky and have a developer that likes the 120 Hz, or you're not going to have access to that. For example, in Fortnite, you only get 30 frames per second, and in Hearthstone, we're only pushing 60 frames per second. The 120 Hz does come in really handy when you're browsing the web, and it's especially buttery smooth when switching between apps and browsing around on the homepage. But watching videos is quite a bit annoying because you're carrying this massively large device, and yet you're going to get these massive black bars on the top and bottom for 16:9 content. And the vast majority of content out there is at that aspect ratio, so this is one thing you're gonna have to live with if you're getting this iPad Pro. I'm gonna go ahead and test to see if this Razer quick charger will charge this iPad Pro. This should be pretty interesting to find out. 3, 2, 1. It initially shows it's taking a charge, and then it goes away. So your Android chargers are not gonna work to charge the iPad. That's kind of sad. That would have been really, really handy because I've got a lot of Android chargers laying around. Maybe if it matches the correct wattage output. All right, so that's my first impressions of the new iPad Pros. Obviously, they're missing headphone ports. That's a pretty big deal. It's going to be really interesting to see how these stack up with the Surface Pro 6 and see how well these can actually potentially replace your laptop in a tablet form factor. Now, I will be drop testing this iPad Pro over on the main channel, so if you want to watch that drop test, I'll have a link in the description down below as well. Overall, I'm really super freaking impressed with my initial impression, but we'll have to do a full review on these bad boys. We'll see you guys in the next video. Brandon out.